Ahead and get us started. Thank you for joining us and good afternoon. We are very pleased to have you join us for the third webinar in our series. It's called A Targeted Approach to Reducing Environmental Cancer Risks in Pennsylvania. So my name is Fern Gilkerson, and I'm honored to be your co-host. I serve as the Healthcare Training Program Manager at Temple University Harrisburg campus and as co-chair of the Environmental Health Work Group with the Pennsylvania Cancer Coalition. Our primary and central objective is to strengthen public protection from environmental carcinogens and cancer risk factors. So the entire series is a collaborative effort between the Pennsylvania Cancer Coalition and the Cancer and Environment Network. Let's turn our attention to today's speakers and topic at this point. We are so fortunate to be joined by Amit Rossner, founder of the Cleria, Sydney Swanson, Senior Science Analyst at the Environmental Working Group, and Andre Green, Associate Director of the Cancer and Environment Network, for the critical topic of empowering the public with data and tools. All speakers will highlight resources to increase public literacy on environmental issues by demonstrating how to use accessible data and tools to assess local risks and make informed decisions about safer products. So speakers, thank you so much for being here. The floor is yours. Amit, we'll start with you.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for inviting me to this panel. I'm really happy to share something about our journey and tools with you and take questions at the end. Let me share my screen. All right. So so as I said, my name is Amit Rothner. I'm the founder of Cleria, and for me, this topic is personal. Um, my wife had cancer, um, and recovered from it, and that was the motivation for us to start looking into environmental health. She had no genetic cancer history in her family and no occupational reasons to be exposed or at high risk. Still, it happened like it happens to so many people. And as we researched what could have triggered it, there was no clear answer, but a potential exposure to environmental carcinogens and endocrine disruptors was one possible risk. We were very surprised because we all believe that uh, the law protects us and that companies are trying to do a good job taking care of their clients. But reality shows us that regulation still has gaps, and companies and brands are not all made equal. Some are have stringent safety policies, and others less so. We felt that we needed a tool to help us identify safer products for us, for our children, and this was how Cleria came to life as a tool for my family. It works pretty well, and so we expanded it further for other people to just use it for free. Um, and that was the our first tool that we developed, the Clear app. I'm going to demonstrate it to you very soon. This webinar is focused on practical tools, so I'll be mostly talking about really how to use it, how can it help you. But before we get to that demo, since I know that we've got on the guest list some health practitioners and scientists and epidemiologists, etc. So I'd love to give you 1 minute of a bit of an overview of other ways you can interact with the Cleria tools. So in addition to the Cleria app, there's the Cleria survey. It's a tool for scientists, communities, and regulators to collect data quickly and have it screened. I'll show you a few examples later if we have the time for that. And the third tool is Cleria Insights, our big data analytics platform that collects data from various sources We've been privileged to work with some of these organizations here, regulators, research institutions, community-led NGOs, and others, where we collect data and try to focus on specific questions related to exposure, um, regulatory gaps, opportunities and threats, and so on, where data is needed. We also participated in some scientific work where we help our research partners collect data or more quickly analyze the data that they already have. So that's a quick overview about our work. I want to, as I said, keep it very practical. So the whole idea is that we consumers we want to um, have access to safer products that are perfectly fine and not have any worries. Until that day happens, it's a good idea to, you know, uh, take a look at the label, understand what's in there. We know it's complicated, but there are some signals that we want to help you identify, and hopefully either toss that product, reduce the use of that product, find an alternative. You have all the options, but the first step is to understand what's in this product that I'm going to put on my skin, on my hair, let my children use it, and so on. So there are various tools here, on the virtual app store shelf. You've got Clearia, you've got EWG and others. I always tell people who ask me, you don't need to choose, use all of them. Try all of them. We're not competing. We all are here to help you. Try all the tools, find the one that makes sense to you, that you find most suitable for what you like to see in an application. Use one, use two, use three. Um, and I'm going to show you ours. So you go to the clearia.com website, and you can either install it on your browser. That's what I'll be showing you first, or you can download it to your mobile phone. And let's see what happens once you download the Clearia Chrome extension or Edge extension. Uh, this is a product. I'm now on target. I'm just going to refresh the screen. So we're going to see this in real time. Once you have the Clearia extension installed, look for this button here, see alerts, or it might say no alerts. And as you click it, what's going to happen is it's going to tell you, hey, here are the ingredients we found for this product, this foot cream. And you can see right away that many of them are green, but others are not so green. So you need to pay attention to that part. Some of the ingredients come from the label itself. Other ingredients are secret, but we may have access to it through our partners. So some fragrance ingredients will not be disclosed on the label, but we can still sometimes pull those in as well. Here in the alerts tab, you're going to see some highlighted issues. So here's an example. This ingredient here, Lilial, it's listed as an ingredient of this foot cream. Unfortunately, it is banned in Europe because it can mess up your reproductive system. So in the EU, it's considered illegal to use it in cosmetics. However, in the States, where the regulation is still more permissive, you can find it in many products. So this makes you think, hey, maybe this Lilial is not so critical. For me, let's try to find maybe a similar product that doesn't have Lilial, right? Here's another example. This ingredient here with a complicated name, diazolylurea. Uh, the thing here is that it actually releases formaldehyde. Formaldehyde, you may recognize this name. It's a known carcinogen, meaning it's associated with causing cancer. And the way this preservative works is by decomposing into formaldehyde that then preserves your product. But we know that there are other ways to preserve products. We don't have to use formaldehyde releasers. There are other preservatives that do the same work and don't increase risk of cancer, right? So there are additional alerts here. We don't need to go through all of them. And what you might want to do is check out the Discover tab, which is where we show you similar products like this one that's doing essentially the same thing. I just clicked it. It takes me to, again, we want to make it easy. So you remain on target in this case. And here's the product. Let's see. Okay, there are two ingredients here, shea butter and coconut oil. You know, seems fine to me. It seems better to Clearia. We want to say again, we don't know everything. That's important to understand. Our approach is what we call a hazard-based approach. We can't calculate your specific risk because we don't know your medical history. We don't know if you're using this product once a day or twice a day. We don't know your age. We also don't know necessarily all the concentration and of each and every ingredient in the product. But from a hazard-based approach, we can tell the consumer, we can tell you, or I can tell myself because I'm a consumer too, right? I'm a parent. So when my daughter is going to ask me about these two products, I'm going to tell her, for all I know, this product here, the first one that we saw, contains chemicals that are known to be toxic by regulatory authorities or emerging science. And the other one, for all we know, the short ingredient list, there are no reasons to be concerned of. You need to buy the product, so buy this one. This is our approach. Hope it makes sense. Um, you will see here as you look at these alerts that there's always a source. We don't have our own, opinions here. We try to be very well referenced in what we tell the public. So there will always be a source. I suggest you to take a look at clear.com/guide because we don't have time right today to cover everything. But as you look at it, it will tell you something about how we divide concerns into uh, groups. For example, the red group would be chemicals that are banned in Europe usually, or in Canada, or even in the States, or otherwise known to be toxic. Whereas the orange group, this is where there are some question marks. Maybe it's considered toxic only when you inhale it, or the issue is it's prone to be contaminated by trace amounts of another chemical, which is the issue that you need to think about. So as you think about transitioning um, to using less hazardous products, that's also something to keep in mind. It's sometimes overwhelming to think that you need to throw all your products, buy new products. So a way to think about it is, maybe start from the red, or in other apps, start from avoiding products with the number 10 score, right? Start from the worst, and then maybe reduce your exposure to the red, to the orange ones, and over time you will find your safer alternatives that work for you. So this is the Chrome extension. I'm going to also quickly show you how to use this mobile app. So what we're going to do is the following. I'm going to share um, I'm going to stop sharing this one and start sharing my mobile app. Tell me if you already see it. Do you already see it or not yet? Not yet. All right, we're going to make this work. Share my screen, start broadcast. Are we good? Cool. I'm going to move this out of the way. All right, so this is the application. This is something you can use at home or in the shops, at work. And here's how it works. Pretty simple. I've got here a product that we're going to use for this demonstration. You can browse the same retailer websites and get the same online shopping experience, but let's scan the label button at the very bottom. I just tapped it. Now I'm looking at this product. Is it a flat package or is it rounded? If it's flat, we can take a photo and that would be it. But this one is rounded. So I'm going to select here the left option, rounded tube. And what we're going to do now, which is pretty cool, so we're going to take a video off the label, right? So I'm holding it like this. You can see my video and my screen as I do this. And I'm going to take 3 second video, it's enough, of the label. And we're going to use this video. In addition, we can tell Cleria something about the barcode, maybe the front of the package. This helps us collect some more information about this product. And then we let Cleria run. It takes a few seconds. And what actually happened here is that in real time, we extracted all the information from these photos and videos. And we can tell you, the consumer, that this product also contains a formaldehyde releaser, another carcinogen of a different type. It also contains this endocrine disruptor, right, with some potential hazards that are written, that are described here. BHT, another potential endocrine disruptor. So there's really, unfortunately, quite a lot here. Good reasons to maybe consider a different product. One interesting thing to note here is that we didn't have to look up this product in our database because we were just given the photos and the videos of the real package, so we can analyze this exact product that I'm holding in my hand. If this product was just launched yesterday, might not be in a database of sorts, but I'm holding it in my hand, so I can always get it analyzed, which is something that we like to have this opportunity. Uh, I'm going to take one last minute. Hope I'm not over time here. And I'm not. Okay, good. So I'll take one last minute and say how this can work to protect people, individuals, but also how it can help communities get together and work as a big team. So here's and I'm talking about Cleria Survey here. This tool that I mentioned, it has some similarities to the Cleria app, but it's more geared towards campaigns, research, analysis, screening that is customized according to the research needs, etc. So one example is we've used it with We Act for Environmental Justice. They organized members to screen products on the shelves in northern Manhattan, in Harlem, and other neighborhoods to understand what kind of products are served to the community. And we found there are quite many skin whitening products, for example, that are not sold by the big retailers, but these are the products in the neighborhood that are sold to the community members. So it's a way to collect very quickly a lot of products, have them screened by Clear Insights, and support, in this case, the um, advocacy and education needs. Another example is we worked with the California Department of Public Health, where they passed two very nice non-toxic cosmetics laws in California, but it wasn't clear if those new laws are already followed on the ground or not. So using Clear Survey, they were able to screen products in 30 cities, thousands of products, and with clear insights, identify exactly which brands, which ingredients are not in line with the new law. And this helped the CDPH start a dialogue with these companies. It's not always about enforcement. Sometimes it's about a dialogue. Try to understand what's the reason for non-compliance and think of ways to improve uh, public health and consumer protection. So I'm going to stop here and available for questions later. Thanks a lot. And passing into Sydney.
Thank you. I'm just gonna share my screen. All right, can everyone see my PowerPoint? Awesome. Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Sydney. I'm a senior science analyst at the Environmental Working Group. And so, who is EWG? We are a nonprofit research and advocacy organization. At EWG, our mission is simple. It's to empower you with breakthrough research to make informed choices and live a healthy life in a healthy environment. I have been with EWG since 2018, and my work focuses on evaluating our everyday products, including cleaning products, personal care products, mattresses, baby diapers, and most recently, pet grooming products. Just a little bit of background. On average, people who identify as women use about 13 personal care products a day with roughly 114 unique ingredients, and men use 11 products a day with 105 unique ingredients. So if you think back to this morning, the soap, shampoo, deodorant, lotion, the number of products and chemicals can really add up fast. And as we use these products day after day, we're exposed to hundreds of unique chemicals, many of which have never been fully assessed for safety and have been linked to health concerns, including cancer, reproductive harm, hormone disruption, and allergies. And it's not just what we put on our bodies, but it's also about what we're breathing indoors. Our environment matters just as much. Most of us spend at least half of our days indoor, and indoor air can be 2 to 5 times more polluted than outdoor air. And so that pollution can come from a number of things like your cooking emissions, the furniture and building materials, but importantly, it can also come from your cleaning products and things like your air fresheners. Many cleaning products release volatile organic compounds, or VOCs, which can linger in indoor air long after you've finished cleaning. And so at EWG, we believe that cleaning should mean clean and hygienic, not polluting your home with chemicals. And so, what can you do to make informed choices and live a healthy life in a healthy environment? That's where EWG's tools can come in. And so, we have two incredibly useful and interactive databases available on our website to help consumers find safer options. And so, I will really be focusing on these two, which is our Skin Deep database and our EWG's Guide to Healthy Cleaning database. And the URLs are seen right there. And then, in addition, we have our Healthy Living app, which allows consumers to scan and find ratings in real time. And that's, you can scan if you wanted to. That's going to bring you to our app. But what's on the app and what's on our two websites are identical. It's just two different forms. So you can use whichever one is more convenient for you. But I'll focus on the app really. And so this is what it looks like. And in the app, you can search for a product by name. You can scan a product's barcode if you're at the store or at home. You can view any of EWG's different categories, like our personal care products, cleaning products, food, sunscreen. And then once a product is scanned or selected, the app will instantly pull up EWG's evaluation on that product based on its ingredients and any available safety data. And so each product is given either a numeric or a letter rating from 1 to 10 or A to F. It just depends on the program. For cleaning products, we will have scores that range from A to F, and then personal care products and food and sunscreens will do 1 to 10. And so a lower score means that there's fewer known or suspected hazards, and then a higher score just means that it's greater concern based on the available science that we have. And so when you look up a product in the app, you'll see its overall rating. Here I have an example of a product that scores an 8, which would be on the higher side, so more concern. And you can see the breakdown of the health concerns. So under the findings tab, you'll see that we have cancer is a moderate concern, allergies is a high concern, developmental tox is a moderate, and then use restrictions is a high concern. And then you can also see the product's disclosed ingredients. So if you go over to the ingredient tab, you'll see the ingredients along with their hazard scores, and then an option to click into an individual ingredient. And so I also just randomly chose Liliol as an example as well. And so in that individual ingredient, you can see it scores an 8 in personal care products and a D in cleaning. And then you can even learn more about the ingredient if you just click the Skin Deep or Guide to Healthy Cleaning. And then on this page, you can also compare products to find safer alternatives. And then if there are any ingredients that you are trying to avoid, you can see kind of in that top left corner, there's a hand that says this contains avoided ingredients. And so instead of telling people what to avoid, the app really helps answer the question of what can I use instead. And just randomly exciting news, we relaunched our Healthy Living app today. So we have a bunch of new functions that are exciting to share. And so if you already happen to have our app, I would recommend going and updating it. But some cool new features, as I'll kind of show on this slide here, is that you can create your own list. And what I think is most exciting is that if you can't find a personal care product in the app, you can submit the labels in real time, similar to what was shown previously, and receive an instant score. And then these photos will be sent to EWG reviewers and we'll do like our official review, and then they'll officially be added after. So if a product is not found, you will scan the barcode and you'll kind of get a pop-up that says, not available, would you like to add the product? And so then after going through a few questions like the product type and then submitting photos, making sure that you include the ingredients, the app will provide an instant score. And so this one, I randomly found a leave-in conditioner that wasn't in here. And so it gave me an instant score of 4. And then you can explore the score more and look at the individual ingredients just like you could with any other product. And then some other new features are comparing products and then adding products to your cart and identifying ingredient groups that you would like to avoid. And so the aim of this resource is to make safer choices more practical and achievable rather than overwhelming. And EWG's databases look beyond marketing claims and focus on real health endpoints, including whether ingredients are associated with cancer, reproductive and developmental toxicity, endocrine or hormone disruption, skin and respiratory irritation, allergies, sensitization, and environmental harm like aquatic toxicity. And not every ingredient is harmful, but our websites and our app really help flag those that are known or suspected risks so you can make informed decisions. And so our app screens against known and probable carcinogens, such as those classified by IARC, which is the International Agency for Research on Cancers, the U.S. National Toxicology Program, California's Prop 65, and then other authoritative scientific bodies. And EWG scientists, we compare the ingredient disclosures from product labels, from brand websites, safety data sheets, other disclosure documents, against regulatory or against data from nearly 60 toxicity and regulatory databases. And we're continuously, our ratings are not static. We're continuously monitoring new toxicology studies, tracking regulatory updates, reviewing changes in ingredient disclosure, updating ingredient hazard profiles as new evidence emerges. And so that means that EWG's apps and databases evolve as the science evolves, and so our product ratings and recommendations are updated accordingly. But in addition to just the app, we also have our EWG verified program. And so products that carry EWG verified mark have gone through our rigorous review and meet our strictest standards for ingredient safety and transparency. And so consumers can use the app and our websites to not only compare product scores, but to also search specifically for EWG verified products, which makes it easier to quickly identify options that are free from EWG's chemicals of concern and meet our strictest standards. And so this helps people move beyond like an okay or a better choice and select products that have met EWG's strict standards. So if you see that logo, that little E logo on the website, on a product label, that means it's met our standards. And just like some simple tips and tricks, it can be really overwhelming to know where to start. And so we always recommend people to take small steps and to make small sustainable changes. When a product runs out, that's when you could consider making the switch instead of just throwing everything all out at once. And focus on products that you use often on yourself or often in in your house or on large amounts of your body. And so switching a body wash or body lotion could be more impactful to your overall body burden than swapping out a concealer. And also use resources like what we're showing here to assist you in this process. It's hard to do it on your own. And then I also just wanted to flag a few other resources that UWG has to help identify safer alternatives in a sense. We have our pesticide and produce guide, which goes through which produce we would recommend buying organic or which produce is okay to eat conventional. Your tap water database, which also can help provide options for water filters depending on what chemicals or you're concerned about in your water, and then our sunscreen guide and a bunch of others. We just have our whole all general guide up there as well. And that's it. Thank you so much for your time, and I will pass it over to Andre.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Sydney. I am also excited to share a resource on behalf of my organization. It's fairly different than what Ahmet and Sydney showed. It's not an interactive tool, but it's a general fact sheet that we created a few years ago and in partnership with another community organization, again, just to make the process for selecting healthier alternatives a bit easier. So I just want to quickly go through that fact sheet now. Let me share screen here. And okay, can you all see my speaker's notes by chance? Okay, perfect. Just making sure. Um, yeah, so again, for a brief introduction, my name is Andre Green, and I'm the Associate Director for the Cancer and Environment Network of Southwestern Pennsylvania. Pretty long name, we just say CINSPA for short. We are a network of over 50 organizations dedicated to eliminating harmful chemicals in our environment that contribute to cancer. And again, today we're going to be discussing our specific Living with Cancer fact sheet. That again was created in partnership with the community organization Women for a Healthy Environment through our education and outreach working group. So at the top of the first page of the fact sheets, it has a disclaimer that I do want to emphasize. Given that we spend approximately 90% of our time indoors, the items and products we bring into our homes can expose us to chemicals potentially linked to cancer and other illnesses. For those living with cancer, making lifestyle adjustments like choosing safer products, addressing indoor air quality like radon, these are essential steps for maintaining general health and well-being. And while eliminating all risks is impractical, consistently choosing healthier alternatives when replacing household items, replacing personal care products does reduce overall exposure. And again, striving for perfection is not the goal. However, we do want to emphasize opportunities for risk reduction when we can. And so how this fact sheet works, it's really interesting. As you can see in the bottom left corner, there's a woman walking to her home. So the fact sheet walks through a standard house and it emphasizes specific exposures in those rooms. And so this fact sheet focuses on, again, several areas where we can implement changes. For example, in the living room, selecting furniture made from solid wood and free from flame retardants. It also talks about personal care products and cosmetic products, indoor air quality and radon. Again, products. And also, whenever you walk into your kitchen, it talks about specific alternatives that you can find there. And the way that looks is as follows. So each room and again, a standard home is highlighted. And in each of those highlighted sections that represent the rooms, it illustrates different narratives about what products can be potentially harmful, why they are harmful, as well as offering some safer alternatives that you can easily implement into your home. So for example, like I mentioned in the kitchen, a general recommendation that we have at CINSPA is replacing all non-stick or Teflon pans, specifically because of toxic PFAS exposure. But instead of just saying, oh, this is bad, we also want to emphasize the good. So we suggest alternatives like cooking with cast iron, cooking with glass, stainless steel, or ceramic, and um, replacing the traditional nonstick pans with these other alternatives. Additionally, in the kitchen, for example, it also emphasizes food storage, and plastic containers are relatively common and really easy. But because of polycarbonate, specifically chemicals like BPA found in those plastics have been linked to cancer, it is a recommendation on our end to transition to glass containers for your food storage. Um, Another example in the home is the bathroom. And something that's pretty innocuous would be your shower curtain. That could be potentially a source of toxic chemicals that I certainly didn't really think about until I came across this graphic. But vinyl shower curtains can contain phthalates, which are known hormone disruptors. So because of that, we do recommend switching to fabric or nylon shower curtains. So again, just offering safer alternatives for these sources of exposure that we might not even think about. I know in the previous page, you saw the individual walking into their home. I know one of the first recommendations was to simply take your shoes off when you're walking into the house, because you could be carrying in potential pathogens into your home that can be potentially carcinogenic and worsen other adverse illnesses. So again, just really easy steps that you can manage and implement into your home, like taking your shoes off, maybe replacing your shower curtain if it is plastic, maybe looking into buying new pans, maybe reducing your amount of fragrance that you use. There are also cosmetic and personal care recommendations, but both Sydney and Ahmed covered that beautifully, so I don't want to replicate that information. But again, it just offers different options for each space in your home, as well as reasonings for why we suggest making those transitions. And again, we've all said today, vetting every product can be extremely daunting, but accessible tools and data do exist. Again, we heard from Sydney, we heard from Ahmet, but some other data and tool sources that we highlighted in this document would be the Made Safe label, which certifies products as free from harmful ingredients. You can also consult their specific certified products database. And additionally, this fact sheet provides resources dedicated to building materials and building materials. Specifically, the resources from the Healthy Building Network. Their Home Free Product Guide provides analysis of chemical hazards and product health impacts. So paint, wood, different solvents that you use in your home. Maybe you are doing some renovations, and that is a resource that you can use to figure out what would be a healthier alternative, specifically maybe with furniture as well, with carpeting, etc. We also emphasize Silent Spring's Detox Me app. It's a mobile app that offers research-based advice on reducing exposure to chemicals. And lastly, we highlight some resources from a local community organization, actually, Women for a Healthy Environment, who actually partnered with us to create this document. They have a lot of fantastic guides and resources for reducing toxics in your home. So again, just wanting to make sure that we have a vast array of different resources that are available. And toward the end of the document, it might be a bit hard to see. I converted this from a PDF, so I would make sure you have access to the more clear version. But something else we emphasize is actually policy, which is an interesting conversation piece to have. But this document does remind us that while these individual changes are critical, policy and regulatory changes and initiatives are also extremely crucial, changing it from the top and at the bottom at the same time to create long-lasting change. We have our information at there if you want to get in contact with us for more information. We have a ton more fact sheets. We have a lot of chemical-specific fact sheets. So PFAS, phthalates, fragrance, etc. So you can do a deep dive on a specific chemical. And we have other general guidelines as well, similar to the one I'm showing you today. Um, yeah, but as we wrap up, I do want to reiterate one key takeaway that every small informed choice contributes to health overall and a healthier home and a healthier environment, especially when you or a loved one are navigating a cancer journey. Again, the goal isn't perfection, but consistent progress using the resources that were discussed today from Ahmet and Sydney um, can help. Um, and I want to finish off this brief section with three actions that I want everyone to remember. The first one is to assess local risks, especially in Southwest Pennsylvania, specifically like radon and what it contributes to indoor air quality and lung cancer. So again, assessing for local risks. Two, making informed swaps. So using the tools that we highlighted today, as well as additional tools and resources to make appropriate product changes. And lastly, to advocate, support policy initiatives that aim to minimize environmental toxics outside of your home. Um, so again, working from the top or working from the bottom at the same time to create this long-lasting change. And I would love to transition to a Q&A. So if anyone in the audience has any questions for myself, for Amit, for Sydney, please either put it into the chat, raise your hand, unmute, and we can begin some conversation. Let's see, I see a quick comment. Now will we have access to these resources? Yes. So after this session, I will make sure that I send out a recording of this webinar, as well as all resources shared in an email. So we will have access to it very briefly. Right after.
Andre, I don't have a specific question. I feel lucky that I've known about some of these resources. I just wanted to thank you both. This is such great information for us to share with our community and just wonderful to have on the back. I was scanning things as you were talking, just out of curiosity, but just appreciate the information and all that you're doing to support the community and be proactive. So thank you.
I guess while we wait for some, well, first, thank you so much, Stephanie, for that. I also agree. It's amazing how much I learn even being in this space for years. I learn more and more every day, so really excited to hear from both Amit and Sydney. Um, but something that sparked my interest, I guess this is a pseudo question, um, would be my concern for the prevalence of greenwashing, and how to combat greenwashing. I know Amit, the first product that you showed, I think it was like TGIN, and I saw the N stood for natural. So seeing products that are listed as natural or they have fancy green um, illustrations on them, or they're like, or they have leaves everywhere that give the illusion that these products are safe and healthy. I know the tools that you highlighted today are resources that can combat the greenwashing, but how else do you navigate greenwashing, or what are some other avenues that folks could take to not fall for greenwashing initiatives or marketing? And I guess the question is posed to the both of you.
Sure. Yeah, I can jump in. I mean, EWG, I believe on our website somewhere we have a whole section on greenwashing claims. And so we've written some articles on it in ways that consumers should just be wary of the terms like non-toxic, clean, natural, and really just to encourage consumers to read the ingredients rather than relying on these claims. In our verified program, at least, we do have like stricter standards on what brands can say and put on their labels. And so in that sense, I'd say we're trying to combat some of those greenwashing claims by having regulations and criteria around what you can and can't claim on a label. But that would be for brands that are specifically wanting to go through EWG verified. But just for general brands that we just rate in the guide, I think it's really mostly around just encouraging consumers to not trust the claims for greenwashing, and for consumers to know that there's no legal basis and that they're allowed to use these claims however they want, and to really just to read the ingredients instead and to have a better understanding of what the chemicals are, which you can do by just using the apps.
Yeah, I agree completely. Sydney said it all. I'll just add one more thing. Another type of uh, greenwashing claim to avoid or to be aware of is the free of. Of course, we'd love free of claims, right? But it's a chemical, sorry, product can be free of, three really toxic chemicals, but it might still contain 10 other toxic chemicals. So it's good to know what it's free of, especially when they talk about free of phthalates or chemicals that are often not listed. But it doesn't mean you shouldn't read the ingredients.
I guess a follow-up question I have would be thinking about some of the response that we've received from some of our community organizations and community members about implementing these strategies in their home. And about, I know we've all touched on about like how overwhelming and daunting that process could be, how overwhelming the science can be, how scary it can be. I would love to hear from the both of you. If you're speaking to a concerned individual, what would you recommend would be the very first step someone should take in order to begin reducing toxics in their home?
Sure, and I kind of touched on that on my like last tips and tricks slide. I personally, and I mentioned this, but like I personally think that the best first step is to find the product that they're using the most frequently or the most often, and something that you're using on like the biggest part of your body because those are going to have the largest body burden. And to not just like toss every single one of your products because I mean that's also environmentally harmful because you're just tossing all of these products away. And so just start with the bigger product. If you're using shampoos every single day, if you're using a deodorant every single day, to start with those and slowly kind of transition all of your products out over months or like just throughout the year, because it's so overwhelming to scan every single one of your products and be like, this is a 7, this is a 6. Oh my God, I thought this was good. It was recommended by my dermatologist. Um, and so yeah, I the biggest product or even like your dishwashing liquid, something that's going to be something that you're consuming in a sense.
Yeah. And I will add another um, simple tip. It's simple to remember. It's not so easy to follow. And that's fragrance. Fragrance, this is just a code name for can be dozens of components that are not listed, often contain endocrine disruptors, sometimes carcinogens. So we should ask ourselves, do we really need this toilet paper to be fragranced? Do we really need the trash bag to be fragranced? Do we really need this air freshener in every room? We probably don't. And when we are exposed to fragrance all day long, we are exposed to chemicals that can lead to early puberty, fertility challenges, and other things. This is what science is telling us. So if you see the fragrance version and the fragrance-free version, consider the fragrance-free version. It's just you're automatically avoiding a lot of chemicals that are not even listed.
Yeah, I think that's a really excellent point. I'll just say sometimes it'll say scent free, which doesn't mean fragrance free. So make sure that, yeah, you are looking for something that's a fragrance free because the scent free could just be something that's masking a scent. And you can also look for products. I'm gonna go with like cleaning products, but something that's a multi-use, like a Castile soap. You can use that for your dishwashing. You can use that for a face wash. You can use that for like an all-purpose spray. That way you have one product that you can use for multiple different functions.
I see we have a question from Khalees.
Yes. I first want to just start with saying thank you guys for this wonderful presentation today. I have a background in beauty justice research, specifically within academia in that space. And so I've been working in this space for mainly like the past 3 years, and I am very familiar with EWG and Cleria. So I wanted to ask to the both of you guys, how do you measure whether people specifically are making healthier or safer decisions while using these tools? Like, what information do you gain? Because I know the databases are both free for users. So how are you able to track, how often users use them, and then how it has benefited their daily lives?
Yeah, it's it's a really good questions about quantifying the impact. So here's how we think about it. First of all, we purposely we don't track the users. We we intentionally track products and not people. So we don't have ads. We don't know who the people who are using our products are. Um, so that's it's a challenging starting point for us, right? To measure impact when we want to keep the users really anonymous and don't get into their lives too much. But we also agree with this need and opportunity to measure impact, and we're working on a feature that we're going to add to the application. It's an opt-in questionnaire that lets people share with us, if they choose to, how using Cleria has changed their decisions by making them more informed, things that they swapped, and additional information that helps understanding impact.
My marketing team is going to be upset that I don't have the stats that they always share. I know we've done market research in the past of like how many people know EWG and how many people trust the mark, and we've done that. I think like every like 6 years, and so I think with that data we are able to just see that consumers are trusting EWG and are using the product to find safer options. And I apologize that I don't have like the actual stats to back that up. But I think also I can just say, I mean, I've been with EWG since 2018, and we've had these databases up for years before that, and I think we can just see the impact that EWG and resources of the such that are having just on the market by seeing products and brands try to push for safer products, and consumers pushing brands to make these safer options, and resources like our products are helping to encourage that market shift. So I think that that's also just a way that you can see the impact that we are having, and that we are helping consumers find safer options.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Even if we don't measure at the individual level, each and every swap, having Clear app used many millions of times over the past years is telling us something about the increased awareness in the market.
Thank you so much, Khalees, for your question. It looks like we have 2 minutes in the call left. So I think we have time for one more question or comment if there are any left. It looks like there may not be any additional questions. So just wanted to thank everyone for joining us today and listening to these phenomenal speakers present on these really wonderful tools and resources. I also want to thank both Sydney and both Amit for joining us today and sharing your expertise and insights. Really helpful, really informative, and I know it impacts my organization and impacts so many community members. So just really want to extend that gratitude to the two of you. Again, whenever the session closes, we will make sure that everyone who registered and joined us today will have access to the recording, as well as all resources shared in the call. So you can expect that within the coming days. Again, thank you so much for joining us.